Are you going to introduce yourself again?
No, it's fine.
No?
You want to do it? Go. Come on.
Welcome to episode 6. Introduce yourself, please.
My OnlyFans is 233butthole6 at yahoo.com.
My actual OnlyFans is, I'm kidding.
That's my Cash App too.
So today on my social media, I talked about
Feet pics.
las patas.
Los patos de puerco. Okay, social media, religion.
No, so what I talked about today is this. So I've on my account, I've always talked about the difference between religion and spirituality.
Okay.
All right, which they're two completely different things, right?
I agree.
I've never.
I think a lot of people don't know that.
The difference?
Yeah, they don't.
So even spirituality is a concept, right?
Okay.
At the end, it's connecting with your spirit, right? The spirit is connecting with God, with love, with the present moment, right?
Okay.
There's no concept, there's no structure, there's no belief that can box your spirit up, right? So God, right? The religion tells you what God is, right?
Okay.
And God is not all these rules. God is not this book. God is not everything they've told you that God is, right? God resides in you.
So even when they talk about like Christianity talks about what Jesus did and what his thoughts were, you don't think it's a good way to live your life?
Well, you see, my parents told me that the way they raised me is a good way to live my life, and that's not true. So this is what I'm trying. This is what I talked about on my social media today. So do you know who Eckhart Tolle is? Eckhart Tolle?
She wrote the book.
He wrote
Was it a guy?
Now.
I thought it was a girl this whole time.
Eckhart Tolle.
Ecka. No.
Eckhart. I don't know how you spell it.
Okay.
But he wrote the book Here and Now. Aquí ahora.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe.
He's a very what's it called? He's a very known what's his name?
It's gonna fucking bother me and then I won't be able to sleep.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like that.
Eckhart Tolle.
Okay, I got it right here. He's German. Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about. Yeah, I thought it was a girl this whole time.
Wow.
I read The New Earth. That's another book that he wrote. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So, what's it called? So, he was explaining, I saw a video today that just blew my mind. I've always known it. Like, Z, it's not that Z goes against religion, right? Z just goes against anything that keeps a human from being their true authentic selves, right? And the religion implements a lot and kind of injects a lot of beliefs. Any belief will go against your soul.
Okay.
Right? They implement sin, they implement repent, they implement guilt, they implement all these things that make the human stay stuck in so much fear.
Okay.
Right? If Z is truly in aligned with her spirit, she's gonna go against religion. Point blank, period. Okay. If any human being is truly connected with their spirit, they're going to go against any structure, anything.
Okay.
Right? There's no way, because the spirit is freedom. The spirit wants to flow, right? And if you truly, if you put it under any sort of structure, it's not going to truly be able to express itself how it wants to be expressed, right? So anyways, he was explaining how in the Bible, right, there's this passage, or how do you call them?
Yeah, passage.
No, they call it a
verse.
A verse,
okay.
Right? Or a story where it talks about how God goes from city to city saying to repent them. Jesus went from city to city saying to repent themselves in order to touch the heavens or something like that, right?
Okay.
I personally have never read the Bible, so I don't really know, but he gave that example, but just the point, I'll explain the point of it all, but I'll give the example. So he was saying how I mean, if you guys know, the original version of the Bible
Old Testament.
was written. The language was written in
Hebrew.
No.
Or what was it?
Wasn't it? Hold on.
Latin.
No.
Hebrew. No.
German. No.
German.
Not
Oh
German.
shit.
Hold on.
What is it called? Aramaic or Aramaic or something like that. I forgot what it's
No.
Pretty sure it was Hebrew.
Oh.
If I'm right, you have to do 20 squats.
No, it's loading.
Come on with your cricket. How many
Greek.
personalities do you
Greek.
think you have? No, there's no fucking way.
Griego.
That's what it said on Google or what?
Huh?
That's what it said?
No. Yeah, that's where
I don't believe that shit. Greek? Because you know Greek came after Egyptians, and Egyptians were Hebrew and Jewish. There's no fucking way. Maybe I'll learn something new today. Let's see. What was the Old Testament written English?
Okay, my point with all of this, whether it was fucking Chinese or Japanese or Hebrew or Greek, right?
Okay.
My point is that there's an OG version.
I told you Hebrew, yeah.
No.
Look. Original language, Hebrew, Old Testament. I'm telling you. And then King James, crazy dude.
In the New Testament, what?
And the New Testament texts were written in Koine Greek. New Testament, you said old.
I didn't.
You said original.
Oh, I meant to say like the first form of.
Yeah, it's Hebrew. And then the new one is in Greek.
Even that. You see what I mean? This is why it gets really complicated. What I'm trying to say, that's even all of this is a perfect example of what the point of all of this is. That
interpretation.
That the OG version, you don't even know. That's just Google telling you. But truly and honestly, you don't even fucking know who wrote it, how it was written, by what language it was.
I think it was Hebrew, though.
Whatever it is, you don't know. Have you physically seen it? Have you?
That was my cousin. No, so the first... Okay, so listen. This is what I do know. A long, long time ago, when we were still spiritual beings, the Hebrews were the ones that kind of transformed our society into a little bit more physical, human, masculine-minded society. Before that, we were feminine-minded, innocent, loving, compassionate. And then Hebrewism kind of made us more masculine, warlike, ego, tribes, race. And that was the first like recorded race, if you could say.
Why is my face like...
What?
I'm like this. Uh-huh. And then?
And then that's when we kind of changed from being loving, unified, conscious, to more warlike. My tribe is better than yours. My skin color is better than yours. And like we've been going down. And then Christianity came around, and it made it even like worse. There's this thing called an ankh. It's like a cross with a circle on top.
Uh-huh.
You seen that? So the top represents the woman, the feminine, the ovulation and all that, the egg, and the bottom represents the man inserting the woman, right? So what Christianity did, do you know the difference between the cross and the ankh? They took away the feminine, and it was just the cross. And that's like, kind of led us to where we are today,
The fucked up society we have today. Well, anyways, the point with all of this was that, going back to why I don't believe in religion or the Bible or anything any structure, right, is that, so Eckhart Tolle, he was explaining how in the Bible, in the original form, or in the original language, right, in this verse or in this passage, right, that that Jesus was like telling this to people, right, that the original verse uses a word, I forgot what the word is, but it's a word in their language, right? And it was translated when it got translated to Latin, right, to repent, right? The word now is in the Bible as repent, right? Repent yourself. So, but if you go to to that word, the original meaning of that word does not mean repent.
Oh,
Right? The
shit.
original meaning of that word means change of consciousness.
Okay.
To die and be reborn, to transform,
Okay.
to recycle, right? So if you think about it, in religion they use the word repent a lot. Repent from your
A
sins.
lot. A lot.
What the heck is a sin?
Damn,
You
so you
did.
gotta replace that word in the whole thing.
Hold on. Repent from your sins. You're sinning. You're a horrible person. Now kneel down and say you're sorry, right?
Yeah.
And because if not, you're not gonna go to heaven. So if you think about it, this book has been translated for how many times, how many versions, how many languages, by how many people, how many brains, how many hands have touched this book.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me that you're going to read this book and not question it?
Yeah.
How the fuck? You know what I mean?
What
Like,
about the original one? What about that?
okay. And then I explained in my stories, I'm like, I think the only reason, I've never read the Bible, but if I were to actually invest my time into reading the Bible, it would have to be in its original form, its original language, the original version that probably looks like shit.
Yeah.
Right? Even though I wouldn't understand it, right? That's why I don't even bother. I'll probably get a translator. And even him, I wouldn't even trust.
You could Google Translate.
I wouldn't even trust that. But the point is that I would have to go that deep to really get down to reading the Bible. But my point to all of this is that people are reading the Bible thinking that meaning, or that verse, right? That word is meant to be there when it's not.
Yeah.
So just with that word meaning that and being there changes the whole story.
Yeah, if you think about it, yeah.
If you really think about it, and people base their
change of consciousness. That's wild.
Right? So yeah, if people base and they worship this book so much, and they base their whole way they live on this book. And when I read that and when I saw that, and I'm like, yo, you do not know how many other words are misinterpreted.
Yeah.
And you're reading this book, basing your whole life on this book, when you don't even know if it's true.
And then you wonder why you're depressed.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's fucking crazy to me. So that was just that was like the cherry on top of like just an affirmation, and just me really having confirmation on why I've never really believed in religion or the Bible or any of that, right?
I could agree with you though. Like I feel like I'm the same way. I was forced into religion by my grandmother, but what I noticed is that people, like humans, need guidance. They need rules, or we would destroy ourselves. Like at first, I was like free will, free spirit, freedom, and do whatever the fuck you want. And the more I noticed is the more, like, if you give humans a lot of freedom, we will destroy ourselves. Look at all the empires. Look at the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, the Mongolians. They all destroyed themselves. They all collapsed. Americans is on the way. American culture is on the way. We're 300 years young, right? Before us, we were from.
But explain to me like I said, I have no knowledge in this. But if you're gonna bring it up, explain it.
Let me tell you the cycle of what happens to us when you get freedom, right? The men, like they did. Okay, let me give you an experiment they did. Right, they did it with rats. Right, they call it the something 72. I can't remember the exact title, but they let these rats live in a home, and they put a bunch of rats. Of course, the males have babies with the females, and eventually the babies got neglected by the mom. The mom started getting more independent and started focusing less on having sex instead of raising the babies. And then the males started fucking each other, the guys, the male rats. And they did this experiment again and again and got the same results. Same shit happened with the Roman Empire. At the end, they started turning gay, they started fucking each other. Women started becoming masculine. They started neglecting their marriages, neglecting their kids. Same thing happened with the Greek Empire. It happens like it's fucked up to say, but humans need like rules. We need like leaders. We need guidance, because if not, we will destroy each other. We will be greedy with each other. We will hurt each other. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know any better.
No. So I do believe I do believe that humans do need.
Leadership, guidance. It's Look at what happened in America. You got
We
the
need consciousness.
yeah, but I mean that's
Because even back, like, let's say me, example. Back then when I was not conscious, right? And I got the ability to have freedom, but it was a freedom based on my ego, right?
okay.
Yeah, I was destructive. Oh, fuck it. I'm going to party. I'm going to throw my money away. I'm going to drink. but there is no consciousness between that.
Yeah.
Now, I have way more freedom. And I will say I'm not destructive at all. If something, I'm helping more, more assertive. I bring more value to anything I'm doing.
Yeah, but that's you. The majority, 99% of people wouldn't handle that freedom like that.
Hold on. I am part of, you are part of humanity. I am part of humanity, just how humanity is part of me, right? And like I'm saying, what makes the difference is the consciousness that you have. What I'm saying with consciousness is the awareness you have of this dark and light. If you don't know how to handle the dark, of course you'll let it overpower you,
Yeah.
right? And you will, what we were talking about earlier, you'll let it take over your life,
Yeah.
right? But when you learn how to meditate and observe it, observe those thoughts, observe your ego, observe the shadow, right? That's what awareness and mindfulness is, all these terms you hear.
I mean, but do you think people are naturally like that? Do you think people could? Because I think that's what religion is to people. I think religion is what brings you to consciousness or following rules or wanting to be a good
That's
person.
your ego. Yeah, of course. This is what happens when you don't have somebody telling you what to do.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of nothing.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
You're always, the thing with the ego, that your ego is always trying to survive. It doesn't like to die.
Yeah.
Right? The only way it could survive is if it's always in the known.
Okay.
When you put it in the unknown, it stops surviving.
Yeah.
Because what happens in the unknown, you're present. When you're present, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like let's say, so this is what your ego does. Let's say you walk into I don't know, you walk into
Ulta. Okay.
Right? You start
My
identifying.
favorite store.
Buy me something when
I
you're.
got you. Got a $10 discount coupon.
What the fuck do you buy there?
I'm kidding. This is my sister's talking about it yesterday.
So let's say you walk into Ulta, right? You start identifying with Ulta, like, oh, this is that, this is this. Your ego starts identifying itself with what it already knows.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Right? Instead of being present.
Yeah.
When you identify, you already let your mind take over instead of fully living the experience. Your mind's already, your mind's ahead of yourself. It's like if you're walking, but you're walking like you're forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of fully being present in the
2
moment.
feet, yeah.
Right? So when you're fully present, right, you don't let your mind process enough to identify what's happening because you're living the present moment.
Yeah.
Right? So what happens when you're not constantly being told what to do, or you're not constantly under a certain type of structure, right? It's now you and your heart, you and your soul. You're constantly in connection and in relationship with who you really are, right? And that's a scary place to be.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I said, the ego always wants to know where to go, how to go about it, who is that, what's going on. Yeah. That's all your ego. Right? So if you take that away, your ego dies.
Okay.
And love stems. God stems.
So you don't think that you could find love in religion? Because look,
no.
I agree
Hell
with
nah.
everything you're saying.
Bro, going to a church, you're gonna tell me there's love in there? There's nothing but.
I mean.
No, there's nothing
I feel
but
positive vibes
from a church.
Yeah, like I feel like people are all on the same wavelength at that moment. You know, like I don't feel like lust is there for a moment. Like I don't.
I feel like the only time I have felt, and it's by like a split, maybe like 2 minutes, I have felt love in a church is when they're worshiping, like they're singing.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
That's the only time, and even that, the lyrics just turn me off.
What is that about turning you on or off? It's like,
Huh?
it's like about people believing in a positive energy. Like every
Positive, babe.
every religion has a different word for it, right? You could call it the universe, you could call it Allah, you could call it God, but it's something to look like something bigger than us, right?
No, but going into a church in a religion like Christianity or Catholicism, right? Just the second that you think that God created sin and that you're constantly in this fear and that you're like you literally go there to hear a pastor tell you to stop sinning and to go the right way. What the fuck is the right way? According to what?
Okay, but
like
there's common sense there too.
No, there's no common sense.
It's like I know not to murder a child. I know not to be a pedophile. I know not to hurt a woman. I could feel it in my body that I'm here to protect the woman. I know like there's certain things in my DNA like that tell me what to do and what not to do.
This is a very, very super very deep topic.
We're deep people.
But like I was explaining in my
story on Instagram.
In my story on Instagram that I'm like, just like here in our culture or like in the American culture, if you're married to more than a woman, like, or you're talking to more than one woman, you're cheating.
Yeah.
You go to Egypt or to all these other cultures, and that's normal.
To have multiple women?
To have multiple women. What changes? Their beliefs.
Yeah. What societal constructs?
Or whatever you want to call them. But it's a belief at the end.
Okay, but some of it's biological. Like, men are here to repopulate the earth. You know what I'm saying? So they want to have multiple women. They want.
But what I'm saying is, why isn't it not seen correct here?
I mean, the Muslim and Christianity are like different.
What I'm saying, hun, it's a concept. They're all concepts and beliefs that limit the human mind.
Yeah.
Right. What I'm trying to say is that not one or the other is right or wrong.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. They just are.
It's just another way to segregate us.
Yeah, separate. They're just another. It's another label. It's another way to put it. And I'm just giving it as an example. Right. So what I'm saying is that the human, and I talked about it, and I'm like, to me, it's a sin, and it aggravates me the fact that the word sin and the word concept, the concept sinning, it even exists. Nobody brought us. I mean, when you came to this human experience, nobody told us how to live it.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Our parents.
Yeah, but.
Oh, you mean in general, the beginning
of
humans?
In general,
okay.
Nobody really, there's not anything that told us how to live it. And if you're the Bible, that's why people read the Bible, right? But now let's say in the, what I was telling you earlier about how even the Bible, right? It's
interpreted and changed.
Yeah, and it's like to create fear on people and to keep you in this bubble of like not being able to truly experiment life, right? If you're constantly always thinking what's right and what's wrong and not just going by what your heart is telling you to go by, you're never really living your true authentic self. You know what I mean? Like, if I were to go based on what everybody that I grew up with, parents, siblings, religion, told me that was right or wrong, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be doing what I love to do. I wouldn't express myself how I express today.
Really?
Of course not. I wouldn't share what I share. You know what I mean? Why? That all goes against what my parents taught me, what religion tells me, how, like, what I dedicate myself to, like that I'm a dancer, or like my personality, that I'm a very outgoing, or that
You don't think you could do those things and be religious?
No. How I dress.
Wow, you got a point there.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, you're telling me that in order for me to step into a church, I have to dress a different way?
Yeah.
That's not God. That's not love. That's not acceptance.
Wait, so you're supporting? I'm assuming you're supportive of LGBTQ and transgenders, and
I'm not as supportive of anything. I'm
that's what
supportive
it sounds
of,
like.
well, whatever you want to put me under as, but
No, there's no label. That's the point of that. Like, I could identify as a fucking plant if I want. It's for complete freedom, no discipline, no rules.
I mean, like, that's still a concept. I don't classify myself as anything. I just feel like in general, like, the human should not be restricted to be themselves, right? If today I want to wear a skirt, I want to wear a skirt, right? And if I have to change, and um this all goes down to anything, like, just me. This is how I live my life. Everybody, I think that's like the main question I get asked on a day to day is, Z, how do you live your life on it? I guess people get very curious on how I live my life, because they know how I think and they know how I view life, right? And it's like I'm constantly discovering and and listening to just to my heart to really be congruent with and aligned with who I really am, and not what everybody says it needs to be, or not what people told me needed to be, or not how it's already said to be. You know what I mean? Because believe it or not, 90% of what we are is what they told us we needed to be. You know what I mean? And that's what the healing journey is. You need to slowly start breaking that down to really get to the authenticity of who you are. And that, unfortunately, whether people want to hate me, it just does not go within a religion.
Yeah.
And it's not religion itself. It's any sort of structure.
Yeah.
That's any structure that limits me
Man-made.
will go against who I am. You know what I mean? That's where entrepreneurship came through, right? When people was like, I don't want a boss under me. I mean, I don't want a boss above me. Why? It's frustrating when your soul wants to express a certain way and somebody's telling you to do it another way.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right? That didn't exist back then in old generations. Why? Because it was normal to be submissive, and it was normal to not have a say. It was normal to feel something and ignore it and do the right thing. When it's like, no way, I'm feeling this. Let me be loyal to what my heart's telling me, right? And be loyal to that, and not what everybody else is telling me to be. So that, even that concept within the workspace, God created, not that concept, like that whole bubble got created, the entrepreneurship, to be your own boss, your own to be individually your own employer, right? That yeah, I think that's like a beautiful thing. And why? Because there was one individual, I bet you, that was like, yo, I'm sick and tired of people telling me what to do. And that's typically what everybody says. I was sick and tired for my having a boss or going in at a certain time, or wearing what they told me to wear, or having to do things I didn't want to do. It's like, no, now I create my own structure. I create my own little world and make money out of it. You know what I mean? And that goes with everything. That just stems down and creating like the business world, right? Like breaking that structure of how and being in the system of working in a corporate job, or working in any system, anything that's within the system, right? Breaking that and creating your own thing and making money out of it. And typically it's people that have an art, and
What about OnlyFans?
They have even that. What about it?
You think that's like a good way to live?
Well, you know that OnlyFans wasn't created to freaking sell your ass and your boobs, right?
I mean, that's the main thing that's there for.
But you know it wasn't created for that.
But the guy knew what he was doing.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Let's call a spade a spade.
That space was created for just like what Instagram has now. your subscribers. What is it?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, like you can have people pay a subscription.
Where it's at now, what do you think it's doing to us? What do you think are the pros and cons about it, or what do you think it's because there's a fine line between.
Well, you see, this is why I hate, and this is why
Hate? Yeah, that's a strong word.
Yeah, I do hate it. Even what you're saying right now, because it's like a lot of people can look at us and say that what we're doing is wrong.
You think so?
Yeah.
I feel
Because
like
we're expressing
it's
my
probably
parents can look at this and say it's wrong.
I feel like 2% of the population would probably think we're wrong.
Well, what?
2% of the population.
I bet you 40% of the population, and it's going to be older generations. But regardless of it, it's 40% of it. Why? Because we're expressing ourselves and we're touching sensitive and very controversial topics, right? So what I'm saying is like, if you really go based on judging everything, and it's like, to me, if a person that's on OnlyFans truly enjoys and that's their art.
Okay, but realistically, how
No,
many?
I'm being hella
Okay,
realistic.
how many of them do you think actually like are like that? Artistic and creative and whatever the
I
art.
think a lot of them.
What? Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say all, just like in any industry, even like, let's say in the spirituality industry, right? People,
No, but it's completely different.
hold on, in the
Though.
gurus that they sell their programs, they're rip-offs.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you think they're at least trying to do it like they're not taking shortcuts, like a stripper or a porn star or a drug dealer? These are all shortcuts.
Let me blow your mind really fast.
Okay, please.
Okay. A prostitute
Yeah.
or a stripper.
Yeah.
What do? They sell their bodies
Sex, yeah.
or their time for money,
Their bodies.
right?
Yeah.
And to simplify, they're conducting an action to be rewarded with money. And that action, they're doing that action not because they love it, but because they're more so focusing on the money.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me how many humans nowadays work at jobs or are doing they're in constant actions that they don't love just for money.
I mean, they still have their respect.
Hold on. How many?
I'm not sure.
How many people are in jobs they don't enjoy?
Oh, a lot. A lot. Yeah.
And why are they in those jobs?
Because they respect themselves.
No. Why are they in those jobs? To get paid.
Oh, yeah. To make money. Yeah.
Okay. It's the same thing. You know that's called prostitution?
I don't know.
Hold on.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's prostitution. That's prostitution of your soul.
Yeah.
To me,
It's a little different, though.
no, it's not.
What? How is it not?
To me, I would validate more if an actual prostitute enjoyed their art, like they truly enjoyed, and they felt pleasure.
I don't think that's a possibility.
Hold on, hear what I'm saying. I would definitely be more in the side of the like if a prostitute truly enjoyed what she was doing. Like let's say let's just live in a world where the prostitute is just loving what they're doing. Okay?
All right.
She just loves what she does. She truly feels pleasure and she feels abundant and she just feels
Taking all the loads and all that.
all of it. She just feels good.
All right.
Right?
Protein.
She just feels good doing that. I would prefer that than a man that's miserable at his job and just being there to get paid.
Okay, now let's come back to reality real quick. What percentage of prostitutes really think that like their childhood dream was like, hey, let me grow up and sell my body?
Hendrix, you know how many people, man, when I used to be in real estate, property
But
management.
they say prostitute.
No, I used to be in real
You said
estate.
real estate. I was like, oh, fuck.
I was gonna say property management.
Oh, okay, all right.
I was in property management. You know that 90% of the people that work in property management drink Adderall and all these drugs just to maintain that job.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You just have this concept
shit.
of a girl selling their body. You just have this
No,
ugly image of them.
It's the same thing with a man. Any person that's like weak, like takes a shortcut, eventually is gonna hurt somebody around them. Like it's indirect. I'm connected to you. You're connected to me. We're connected to back there. My actions are eventually gonna hurt you. My actions gonna hurt him. Like we're all connected, right? Taking shortcuts. Like say you have a friend that does this shit, right? Or say I have a friend that sells drugs, and one time I'm with them, and he chooses to go sell drugs to the wrong person, and we both get killed. Or say you're with a friend that's a prostitute, and she got called to a house party for you to go, and you just tag along, and she gets raped and killed, and you're with her, and you might get raped and killed too. Like these are indirect positives and negatives that we know they're kind of common sense in a way. If I put myself around that,
Hun, you're talking about very specific scenarios, right? That if you're really trying to put those scenarios,
it's a world.
You'd have to go down to, what the fuck am I doing with friends like that, or what the fuck am I doing with people like that?
Yeah.
Right? That's going back to what we were talking about the very beginning, having a life that's truly aligned with yourself.
Yeah.
So right now you're putting examples that are they're very particular, and I know where you're trying to get, but it goes deeper than just the examples, right? It's just truly now just questioning on like what type of life you're really living and who you're surrounding yourself with, right? And why you're attracting people like that.
I just think undisciplined and weak-minded people hurt our society as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like selling drugs or...
It's like what I'm saying, Hendrix. Like, my family thinks that I hurt others by me expressing stuff like this. Why? Because it goes against everything they believe.
Well, you're talking about the religion part?
Anything. Religion, just family standards, anything you want to put it as.
Yeah, but the majority of the people that have a little bit of IQ are going to embrace your message because it's the positive one.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that there's still going to be people that think this is negative.
Yeah, but I feel like more people will...
Regardless, what I'm saying, there's still going to be negative people. I mean, there's going to be people throwing shit at this. So going back to stuff like that, it's like, it's not about like taking away the action or what the girl is doing. You know what I mean? Like I said, even prostitution, it's like when that's something that I heard, and I'm like, that blew my mind, because I'm like, believe it or not, people prostitute themselves every day when they're not living a life that they truly love and enjoy. And especially working at jobs where they're miserable and they're just getting paid they're just there to get paid. To me, that's prostitution.
But society's going to respect those.
Why do you want people's respect when you're miserable?
Because it's not...
Fucked respect.
I mean, but if you're just chasing happiness the whole time, you're going to keep chasing it.
It's not that I'm chasing happiness.
I'm not saying you.
No, and you can say me, because I live like that. It's not that I chase happiness. I'm just trying to live my most authentic self. And because people are so used to not living, like I said, and the reason why I talk about this very concrete and very confidently is because I've lived both worlds. I've lived the materialistic world where, yes, the money and the living the dream and all that world of having everything, right? I've lived that, and I've also lived the world where I'm doing what I love and I feel more abundant than back then. And back then I had the material stuff.
You're agreeing with it though right now. You're literally saying it right now that you're doing what you love and you're living a good authentic life, like positive vibes, genuine, right?
Yeah.
The opposite is you're talking about, let's talk about a sex worker. I don't think any woman wants to sell her body for money. I don't think it's like...
Have you gone up to her and asked? I don't do. I would want you to first.
The majority of strippers I've ever seen or OnlyFans girls are all empty inside. A lot of women that you see in strip clubs take drugs so they could cope.
Hendrix, I feel, I swear, please comment if he's just not understanding what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I'm telling you that even in a healthier workspace, it's just, that's why you have to open your mind up a little bit. Like, even in a workspace where you consider more respectful, people still consume drugs to maintain the life. I mean, to maintain that job.
Correct.
I was in it.
Yeah.
I used to take Adderall to be in that job, to get paid, to be perceived a certain way and get respect and get approval from other people. And I wasn't a prostitute. I was doing the same thing she was.
There's a difference.
No.
Okay, what the highest form of energy we have on this planet is sexual energy. If you have sex with somebody, you're attached to them for life. Now think about having sex.
That's not true. Who told you that?
That's a part of our lives. Sexual and energy exchange is what it stands for, right? Or sexual energy something. I forgot.
Where'd you read it from?
Multiple places.
Exactly. You're just repeating what you're reading.
No, but it's you could feel it. Like if a woman has sex with a man, she lays down with them. Chemically, biologically, you get attached to him, right? Uh, Oxytocin is released. Also dopamine. That's how we get attached to each other. That's how a man gets protective over his woman, and that's how the woman falls in love and gets attached to the man.
These are all concepts. I feel like you're reading
It's
like a
chemical.
Cinderella
It's
story.
It's science. It's not something that I came up with. It's not my opinion. It's research. You can look it up. Like it's not. I'm not.
This is like the same thing we were talking about. The toxic spirituality that you think that another can transmit their energy onto you, which is not true.
How is it not? If you have sex with somebody.
It's the same thing you telling me that if you get mad right now because of something I said, it's my fault.
No, but there's
Hold
a
on,
difference
hold on.
between a dick going inside a person.
It's the same thing.
No, not even close.
It's the same thing. Okay, so let's say let me break this down for you so you can understand
por
it.
favor, en
Okay.
español, por favor.
En español
No,
te lo digo, en inglés.
En inglés.
Okay. So, en español o en inglés?
En inglés.
Okay.
Porque voy a
So-
enamorar si me dices en español.
I'm telling you, people fall in love with my voice. I don't know why. Cap. No, it's not a cap. I wish it was a cap.
Cap.
I wish
I
it was
wish I had
a
a
cap.
button to say that.
Okay. So, ¿cómo se le dice en inglés? The energy vampires? Is that how? Do you believe in that? You do. I'm pretty sure you do.
According
Believe.
to you, it's all concepts.
Yeah, but no. I want to know what you believe in. I'm pretty sure you do with everything you're telling me. So,
Yeah.
you go to a bar, you see a guy, I go to a bar, I see a guy, I'm attracted to the guy, and I'm like, yo, like I really would love to like
Have sex with him.
get down with him, right? There's a reason why I was attracted to that man and not the 30 others that were in that bar. Have you ever thought about that? How our attraction is very particular to what we need in that moment, to whether I got attracted to that man to just maybe have a conversation with him, to maybe just have, I don't know, an interaction with him, maybe go to bed with him, whatever it is. But I got attracted to that specific man, right? So we conversate, okay, yada, yada, yada. We are exchanging. At that point, we're exchanging energy, right? From that point, that man is already, he's already showing me and reflecting to me stuff that are already within me. He's from that moment, right? The duality does not stop. It's at all times, right? Especially when it comes to intimate and relationships, right? That's even more intense mirrors, right? So you meet the guy, okay, you're talking. He maybe could have said something that triggered me in that moment or whatever it is. From that point, I'm already experiencing what's within me through him.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So let's say we talk, we conversate, and it gets to the point where we're like, you know what? Okay, let's go home or let's go to a hotel. Let's have sex, right? In that moment, right, I'm still seeing myself with him, and even at a more intense level because we're not at a vulnerable stage, right? When we go to these stages of pleasure, right, which is what people have in their minds, right, to please the others, like a lot of people stop thinking about what's going on within themselves through this person when you're in a sexual interaction, because you're already having your mind that it needs to be a pleasurable moment
for yourself or for them,
for just the experience itself. That you need to feel pleasure, the other person needs to feel pleasure, the experience needs to be pleasurable, right? Instead of continuing being present, right? Because in that moment, right, let's say, I don't know, you had a trauma or a wound that was...
Wait, what are you saying? I mean, you're talking about the energy vampires right now, or are you talking about...
Yeah, hold on. I'm explaining that part. So in that moment, right, let's say, I don't know, the how do you call it? The foreplay starts happening, right? You guys start kissing, you guys start sharing. In that moment, I don't know, you may start feeling this emotion in you. Right? Whether it's a positive or a negative, you can probably, there's been times, and I'm going to be super honest about this, where I think I've healed more through my sexual interactions than I've healed more through my sexual interactions than just like being one, like, I mean, just like a regular conversation
Meditation.
with somebody, right? Because you're at such a vulnerable and intense point of your emotions are at literally the skin level,
Yeah.
right? They're like at full on skin level,
Okay.
right? That in that moment, let's say you get a thought, or I don't know, like you start getting a fear or something pops up, right? That experience came to show you that, right? And because you have in your mind that that moment needs to be pleasurable, right? Or you're trying to please the other person, or you're already thinking, oh my God, I can't show nothing that's not pleasurable in this moment, right? You're going to suppress that emotion.
Okay.
You're going to suppress that emotion just to be perceived as, or continue that concept of this needs to be a happy, pleasurable moment. What if you wanted to cry in that moment?
Yeah.
What if you wanted to, I don't know, what if you, there's been times where I've cried in the middle of just sexual
I think
intercourse.
that's normal.
But going back to the the energy vampires, that in that moment, if you suppress that emotion just to have the continue that appearance that everything's well, like everything's pleasurable, yada yada yada, that's when people leave that intercourse saying, "Oh my God, I feel so drained," or "He stole my energy." And it's like, no, it's not that the other stole your energy. It's that that other person showed you an emotion, and you weren't vulnerable enough to show it, that you suppressed it, that in that moment of repression, you lower down your energy. And that's why you leave that experience with feeling drained. And that's when then we blame the other and say that the other is the vampire, the energy vampire, the vampire energy, that they took my energy away, or that they came to steal my energy. And it's like, no, in that moment you felt an emotion, and you did not allow yourself to process that emotion, right? That then you kept it inside of you, and that's draining, like that.
But that's it. Okay, you're talking about emotional state. What about your physical?
What about your physical?
Like intercourse, a lot of the times is physical, right? So we're talking about
I mean, if you're
energy.
having sex just to have sex,
Yeah. Don't you think that that's harmful to the body? Like, regardless of what we feel, right? You're talking about emotions. The act of laying down with one another, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid the consequences. You can't avoid the chemicals that are going on in your body. And, like, when you're
I mean,
attracted to
yeah, I mean that's abusive for your body. Is that what you're trying to
yeah,
say?
but when you're attracted to somebody, it's also because their blood type, right? Your blood type is going to try to find somebody that's different so you can survive. Your baby will be healthy. Also, if you're on birth control or you're not on birth control, your hormones attract different people at certain times. And so when you lay down with somebody, like when they say energy exchange, regardless of how we try to, like you said, suppress or not suppress, your antenna, your absorption of the energy is there regardless. You know what I'm saying? If we want to try to control it or not, and we want to try to suppress it or not, block it or not, when we lay down with a person, it's sacred. It's touch, like especially like that's the highest point of vulnerability. Like you said, it's like your emotions are like all the way to the surface, right? And when I'm going back to like the prostitutes, right? They're doing that even if they try not to be present. They're still doing it physically, and later on in life, there's been research that shows, right, like a woman can't soul bond with a mate because she's had so many like disconnections and connections with different people in her life.
It's not because of that. It's because they're so disconnected with themselves.
The same, I mean, all of the above, disconnected in general.
Yeah, they're
But
just. I get what you're saying. I mean, if you're really trying to now, you're just trying to really be deep about that industry, like prostitution, right? I mean, of course, I don't. Um, yes, if you see a big spectrum of them, I do believe that, I don't know, I think majority of them will have done it from necessity,
yeah,
right? Because they need
survival.
survival. Um, but at the same time, I think it's just no different about how, yeah, it's one act, but I still feel like it's the same action elsewhere. Like, you're still harming your body. I mean, I would see how people in a in a workspace, or yeah, at an office job, how much they harm their bodies with coffee, with caffeine, with drugs, with all these things. I mean, yeah, you're taking different jobs, but it's the same harm to the spirit. Like it like the spirit doesn't know otherwise, but just the action that you're committing to the spirit itself, right? So just how she may be hurting the body that way, this person that's at an office job at a more respectful position still hurting the body the same way, still committing the same, is still at a job that he's probably not present in, and he's just there to survive. You know what I mean? To me, is the same exact thing. Regardless that here, yeah, she's probably having penetration happening, right? But now talking more about just like, just being
Penetration.
That's what it's called, no? When you penetrate. What?
This is random word.
Penetration.
I mean, but look, so but if you work at like a 9 to 5 corporate job, chances are you'll still be able to, your life would maybe put itself together eventually, right? You might still find a husband and married and happy. You might still have healthy children.
I mean,
kids.
a prostitute can also heal. You know that, right?
Yeah, but think about how much more work that is. Think about how much more difficult and unlikely it's gonna be.
Well, you know that a prostitute, majority of the prostitutes, if I see it right now, I think they're very sensitive souls. They're very,
Well, I'm sure a lot of them got sexually abused too.
yeah, they carry a lot of abuse in them, right? And majority of the people that carry a lot of abuse in them is because they this is how I see abuse, right? If I'm talking about it in a more with my perception, is that a person that has created a reality of so much abuse, right? More than likely, their relationship with their mother is super shitty, right?
Why their mother?
Because that's their feminine energy. That's their representation. So,
what if your mom is masculine?
Exactly my point.
Okay.
That's still, so your feminine, so your first feminine, your first images to represent how your feminine and masculine energy are inwards are your mom and dad.
Yeah, correct.
Right? So if your mom is not feminine and she's more masculine, right? That's why I'm saying they have trouble with their feminine energy. Why? Because they don't know how to be women. So because they were raised with women that were more masculine, right? That these souls, like let's say in this case, the girls that prostitute themselves, they don't know what motherly love is.
Yeah.
Right? More than likely, they created an experience where
through sex.
No, they created an experience where there's so many all their male figures, right? There was so much violence with them.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, majority of them come from, I'm just seeing it like as a what I typically see, they come from like very poor neighborhoods or very not too well taken care of communities and stuff like that. Our families are very broken, right? But just going deep down, it's mainly with mom. It's mainly with that feminine energy. I mean, we're talking about females, right? It's like if you carry so much abuse, it's because at some point, right? You must have seen that feminine energy or that feminine image been of you, like that. Their mom probably got abused, or they saw their mother get abused so much.
But what about the dads? What if, because in my experience, I've noticed that when women have a strong father figure, they usually respect themselves a lot. Like they're not the ones that are out getting all crazy and shit.
It's not about not getting all crazy. What do you mean by that?
So, in my experience, what I've noticed is that like women that have strong father figures, right, kind of like a little bit more disciplined or a little bit more positive leadership roles, they kind of are like they set the example for the woman that like this is what I'm gonna find in a
No, I
man.
think I think that females that have, you're talking about more like a strict father,
Not just strict, but a positive, like a masculine man, a good man.
like
Like
a loving man.
yeah, loving it. To me, masculine and loving goes together. Like you're not masculine unless you are loving and protective. You know, like all that's together.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, more than likely, if I mean, in an ideal world, that would be a healthy masculine, and the mother. I mean, if that's the case, if how the dad is like that, then more than likely the mother is in her true
Yeah,
feminine, to where she feels safe and she feels like she can nourish and she can play her role,
yeah,
to where um the their kids,
yeah.
right? Them seeing that, of course, they're not gonna have as much of a traumatizing life experience, right? But I mean, more than likely, people like that didn't have experiences like that,
Right. Yeah.
right? And yeah, I mean,
What's your opinion on like what if they're older already? Like say they're 35 and 40, and they still have chosen to neglect their wounds and
not necessarily that, not necessarily prostitutes, but
no, not just them.
oh,
I'm saying
humans.
humans. Yeah.
What about them?
Like, what do you think they should do? Do you think they should get pity, compassion, sympathy
They like from us?
from anybody? Yeah. Like,
Uh,
if they're that age, like, say they're 40 and they're still making the same mistakes, and, like, say, like, let's just say a man, right? Let's say a man that's 40, right? Maybe well put together, but, like,
I
maybe,
mean, I don't. Um,
like, he never healed. He's still insecure. He's still, like, hurting other women.
I think that when you truly, this has came through my experience with my healing journey, but I went through the phase of like when I started really tapping into like my feminine energy and like my healing energy. It's like I came to it was part of a phase of like me wanting to heal everybody around me,
Yeah, for sure.
right? But that's not my job.
Yeah.
You know what I
It
mean?
could get draining.
It's super draining
Yeah.
because it's not my responsibility to
Yeah.
heal others. My responsibility here is to experience my
You don't
life.
think it is?
What?
Like, if you have this type of gift, you don't think you could share it with the world?
I do think I could share it with the world and let the right ones come to me and hear it, but it's draining when you're constantly wanting to save somebody that doesn't want to be
For
saved.
sure, yeah, yeah.
Right? It's completely different. Like right now,
What about if they needed the most?
Hmm?
What if they needed the most?
Yeah, but it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's a phase you go through
How do you
with
draw the line?
within you. It's not drawing the line. It's a phase. So within your spiritual journey, you're gonna go through a lot of versions of yourself. You have to hold space for them with a lot of compassion,
Okay.
right? Because it's like me. I've came like when I went through that phase, right? Me exiting that phase for a minute, I was hating that version of me because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why did I do so much for that person? Why did I drain so much? Why did I lose myself? Like, I went through it for a minute, hating myself for trying to help others, right? Until I realized that it's like, first and foremost, is me. I had to hold space for that version to exist, right? I have to hold space because at the end of the day, I'm still learning. We're always learning, right? Even if it is that I'm awake, I'm still gonna forever learn, and I'm here to learn about me through others, um and just what my life experience has to offer me. But as much as I can say that I could see the hurt in the world, I can't. I'm only responsible for myself and my life experience, and I can share what I know like I'm sharing now, and the right people will listen and the right people will come to me, and I will never close my door on anybody. Never. But I will walk away once I know it's time to walk away. But there was times where I knew that it was time to walk away, and I would stay because it's just in my heart. It's in my heart to want to help others.
What about with other women?
What about with other women?
Like,
Oh, I mean, I had a client, so I do one on one. I do one on one conferences. Well, one on one. What's it called? Sessions.
oh, you
With
still have some.
yeah, with females, and with females that truly feel inspired and want to learn from me, and I help them with their healing journey and with their sexual energy and their feminine energy, right? And I had this client, and it gets to the point where I share what I have to share, right? But at the end, I'm not responsible for their journey, right? I can only share where I'm only here to share and um to guide and to walk with them, besides them, but not do the work for them, right? So there's clients where I know it's a little bit harder to break their layers, right?
Yeah.
Because they're from older generations, but I'm still not gonna do the work. I can't do the work for them. You know what I mean? And I could just share what I know, plant the seed. Sometimes planting the seed is all you need.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't need the whole full on journey. Like some people, I mean, yeah, like I've seen huge transformations in like a month that I'm with them, right? That I see their feminine energy starts transforming. They start doing what they love. They start being more abundant. Like it's like a huge transformation. And then there's times where planting the seed was all they needed, right? And the time will come where that seed starts spreading. But in that moment, they're not ready to be awakened. You know what I mean? Like,
So like, say, like, what I've realized is a lot of the times when a woman is masculine is because the lack of masculinity around her. So she feels like she needs to do it herself. She needs to be survival mode. What about, how do you do it without having that masculine energy around you? How do you bask in your like divine femininity without having
you're
masculine
talking about me?
in general for a woman? Like, do you think you need the divine masculine around you?
Nobody needs nor the female or the male. You
Because
don't need it.
because you hear that's an excuse a lot of the times. Like when a woman's masculine, she's like, "Well, I don't have a
No, no, no,
man."
no, 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 no. There's a difference. I've been masculine. That's why I can talk about it. Like I've been back then, before my spiritual journey, I was more masculine than feminine. My masculine energy was higher than my feminine energy. That's why I was at a corporate job. I was very I would be the one that provide and that control. I was way more masculine. Like if you would have met me 2 years 3 4 years ago, like yeah, I was super masculine. And um back then I would have that mindset of I don't need a man. I don't need a man to come and take care of me. I can take care of myself. No, now it's like I don't need a man to come take care of me, but I wouldn't mind if a man is next to me to provide me with his portion
Yeah,
of the relationship or whatever it is.
yeah,
Back then I wouldn't want it. I would be like I could do it myself. No, now I love interacting with men,
yeah.
but from a place of so much love where they don't, because even a man, I think it's super draining for a man to be in a relationship where a female needs him. Because
I don't know. 50-50.
no, I think it is because whether and if it's not, and if you're saying it's not, I think that's your ego. Like it makes you feel more of a man, like, oh, a girl needs me. But truthfully, a man that's healed with his masculine and feminine. Cause men that are more in that sense of like, oh no, I want a woman next to me and I want to protect her. Now they're not healed with their feminine energy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need that, and typically, those men attract women that are like moms,
Yeah.
that are always telling them what to do, that are literally moms. Like
Oh shit.
them man, those type of mans are looking for a mom.
But what about the opposite then? What about a woman that's masculine looking for a man that's like to balance her masculine out?
A woman that, well, look, when I was more masculine and less feminine with my ex-husband, he was more feminine than masculine.
Really?
No, I think it was a good balance of both. but I was way more masculine than him. So
You led the relationship.
I led the relationship. So women that are more masculine will find man that they can control.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? And men will be attracted to them because a girl with a woman with their masculine energy more evolved or more worked on, they're more controlling. They're more controlling and they're more like moms.
Wait, so they're all moms.
No. What do you mean? I'm saying
Oh, okay. I get what
no.
you're saying.
Back then, when I was talking about a man, I said a man that's fought with that is not healed with his feminine energy. He will attract females like that.
Okay.
That are more, like moms, like more controlling. They're always needing to be told what to do. Like one of my exes, he was like that. He always needed me. Like I feel like I was very feminine, and I was very feminine, but I was realizing that I was like taking care of him. He was like a baby. Like he always needed for me to tell him what to do. Not that I tried to, like, I wanted it or I liked it. It's
Are you
just
sure
what?
that you don't like it?
No, there's a difference between, I've understood that there's a difference between like now that I'm like understanding like different versions of me and like like being feminine, is that I love nurturing and I love nourishing,
Okay.
right? But I don't like when a man needs it.
Oh yeah.
It's completely different. I can.
But that's psychology.
Hmm?
That's psychology.
What do you mean?
Like whenever a person doesn't need anything, like whenever I can show that I don't need anything from anybody, that's when everybody wants to give me stuff. But as soon as I need something, nobody's there. That makes sense? Would you say it again?
No. I know what you mean, but it's taken away. It's not really psychology. It's just even the term needing is a very violent term. It's like it's violent within the relationship. Like I need something. It's like super violent. Whether it's
I agree.
safety, whether it's nourishment, whether it's, it would be amazing like in a perfect world where a female doesn't need protection or safety because she knows how to provide for herself in a loving way, from stemming from her loving what she does for a living, and she's truly in her, this is how crazy this is. If a woman is truly healed with both energies, right? First of all, more than anything, she has to be healed with her feminine energy. I mean, she's a female, right? So her healing and her softness will allow her to connect with earth and with her passion and what she's meant to do. Not a corporate job, right? That she's probably whatever her art is, a painter or poet. I don't know, she writes poetry or she writes music, or I don't know, whatever art you want to call out there, right? And from that she starts generating money out of that, right? So she starts working on her masculine energy through her feminine art. You know what I mean? And that's true empowerment from a healed woman, right? That if a man comes in, right, that he is truly healed from both sides, right? Nobody needs nothing from the other person.
Yeah, that's an abundant relationship.
You're just there to live life together and enjoy life together, but not needing anything from one another, but still sharing stuff, qualities from one another, but not needing
But
it.
won't that be like super difficult, like for a woman to find something that she loves to do and do it and get paid for it? Don't you think?
Well, that's what I help women with, because women, like I said, nowadays, like I was mentioning earlier, that we have, it's like 80% men and 20% women. And 40% of those men are women, because women tried for so long to fit into the world of man, to the world of the business of the corporate jobs, and I mean the corporate world, right? the
Well,
system.
that's recent though. That's recent because before that it was more about the families. It was about family units, and that's not like until like the 80s that that stuff started happening, or 90s.
The whole feminist and all this,
Yeah.
all these terms, right? That females are not to be able to do what you love. You have to be connected to your feminine energy. You have to be healed with your mother.
Oh, that's what we were talking about earlier too. The superpower. Remember?
Yeah,
That's why I was asking you if sharing the gift and trying to heal and open other women's eyes, because like the superpower is like neglected, not used anymore. You know, that shit is just
yeah, and that's when we were talking about how now women are more men, and
yeah.
they can't connect with that superpower anymore, because they're being sensitive and soft and nourishing and nurturing and healing for the world. They've completely
I mean,
lost that.
so what do you say to women that blame men for them being masculine? What's your opinion on that?
What do I say to,
Women that blame men for them being masculine.
actually, I had seen a video on Instagram of this girl saying she's super masculine, right? She's super beautiful. She's super pretty, but I could definitely tell her hardness, right? She's like, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if people don't like the fact that I'm more masculine, but the life that I had taught me that if nobody's going to do it for me, I have to do it for myself. And that's all stems from her being, she has a lot of trauma with her masculine energy. More than anything, her dad was not there for her,
Yeah.
right? That she had to step up and stop being a female to be a male,
Yeah.
right? But now being conscious about it, she can heal that, right? By I mean, there's a lot of deep procedures and practices, that I do. A lot of meditations that go into it, but it's just all stemming back to healing with dad through your feminine energy, being vulnerable enough
What
to
if
admit
what if the woman doesn't have a father?
it doesn't matter. You know that to heal with your masculine or feminine energy, you don't need to have nor your mom or dad alive. Your whole reality will reflect how your masculine and feminine energy are, right?
Okay.
She can heal with the men that she's attracting in her life. You know what I mean? More than likely are going to be how her father was,
Yeah.
because she has that vibration, and that vibration that's creating her reality in her, that she's going to attract those type of men, right? So yeah, so she's like, so yeah, I'm sorry if I have to be masculine. But that's how the life, yada yada yada. So what I say to women, that tell me this, because I hear it so much, right? And I used to say it, is that yeah, you can fight all you want, right? And you can say that you're right and that men are this and that men are that. But if you're truly trying to heal, right? Not to be right, because you can be right all you want. But if you're truly trying to heal and transform and evolve, you have to put those guards down and go down to that little girl that was not taken care of.
Yeah.
That little girl that needed that fatherly love and that she did not have. That little girl that she just wanted to be a girl, like she just wanted to have fun and be taken care of, but she couldn't, and she had to go out and work and do things by herself. She has to be vulnerable enough to touch that little girl, heal that little girl, in order for her to stop being so mad at dad for not being there.
Yeah.
And now for her to be a woman again. That little girl that she couldn't be, now she could be it, and she can take care of her, right? And once she takes care of her, she's now going to start, it's all like a rippling effect, a domino effect.
But can't she do it without masculine energy in her life?
Well, no, she has to, in order for us to, um, for me, that's why it's so important to be so connected with like your feminine and healing energy, because I can't know what's inside of me unless I'm interacting with another human being. Right? I mean, relationships are your biggest mirrors, right?
Yeah.
So, a lot of females don't get close to men in this whole terminology of, I mean, this whole thing that they say, like, I don't need a man next to me. It's because truly, it's like if a man gets next to them, they're going to be so scared for that abandonment wound that dad did when she was young, or that she felt with dad, that she's not going to let a man in, because she's going to feel that she's going to be so scared for that man to leave that she's going to sabotage any relationship in order to not feel that pain.
Yeah.
Right? So that whole thing stems from that fear that she still needs to heal with dad. So if you don't have a dad, you have to
Well,
be.
I don't mean dad. I mean just a partner, like say a boyfriend or something.
No, correct. But you need to confront that fear, not with anger, but with your guards down, and letting you need to go to the pain to heal the pain.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to go to the pain, and they want to kind of just like, oh, nothing happened, let's move on, let's move forward, forget about it. But it's like that pain is still creating a reality. Yeah. And until you don't go to that pain and you're honest,
you gotta find it.
You're honest. I mean, that's why these practices come through. I mean, like me, that people, that the guys, or people that go to people that guide them, or that help them within their spiritual journeys. But yeah, I mean, it's a real thing. But to me, it's just really, really sad that I think what has taken that amazing gift that as women we have away, it's because we've completely lost touch with our vulnerability and our healing capacity, because we want to be like man. We want to be respected by man.
I think naturally women are way better healers than men are. Like,
100%.
You can read the energies. You don't need to fucking be You need to
No,
be told.
Men are more brain, more intellectual, and females, we're supposed to be more feelings and more hearts, more emotion, which is a beautiful thing. And another thing I hear, it's like with women, they're like, if a man, I don't care if a man doesn't get close to me, like I can do it without him, or they talk a lot about how men don't get close to them because they feel intimidated, right? And to me, it's not that a man feels intimidated, right? It's to me that if a man is truly healed with his feminine energy and he truly wants a woman next to him, he's not going to go up to another man. Right? And to me, it's really sad.
Put that shit so simple. That was good.
Yeah, because I'm like...
Because you know what? I'm a man, and that's how we think. That's exactly how we think.
I know how men think. I know how women think, and I know how men think.
Yeah.
And that's very true. I mean, like, to me that I personally do like my man, that they're sensitive, they have a heart, they know how to express their emotions. But I also need a man, not need a man, but I also like a man that has presence. That has presence, that's confident in himself, that knows how to lead, that knows how to provide. Of course I like that, but I also need the sensitive part as well.
But the other part is something that you're gonna have to teach that guy, because it's not like men aren't born with that shit. You realize that, right? We learn those from a woman.
Yeah, correct. And that's another thing that I've seen is that like men that come into my life, I will say that whether they come into my life for a day, a week, a month, a year, 2 years, whatever it is that because I'm so in touch with my feminine energy now that even it could be a friend, not necessarily a significant other, but it's something that's so contagious that I automatically have a man bring its guards down because of my softness. You know what I mean? And a lot of women don't think like that now. Like they're so manly and they want, like, they're literally like another man with another man, and they're in constant like war with each other and competing with the significant other, when there's no love in that, right? To me, it's a beautiful thing to at least plant a seed. I mean, I don't know if you've heard it, but females are meant to calm the man down.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, not that it's my responsibility, but it's in my nature. It's a strength. It's in my nature. Like, let's say my significant other, whatever it, I mean, it just comes so natural to me. Like, if I am which it happened, right? If I am with somebody that's, I don't know, they come home, they have a stressful day or whatever it is, to me, to be able to show so much love and compassion to him and calm him down, whether it is through a hug, through a kiss, through a conversation, through maybe a meal, whatever it is, something that just like lets him know that he's safe.
Yeah.
It's just in my nature now, right? And it's not because I try, it's just who I am, right? And I'm so healed with that side of me that it's so beautiful. Like, to me, it's amazing. And yeah, like, let's say that relationship only lasted, or that interaction only lasted, let's say, a week. But that man, after leaving my side, he's transformed. I see transformations, and it's such a beautiful thing. And for women not to know that we have this superpower, right? That instead of us fighting with man, we were to heal our feminine side and help men heal, this society would be completely different.
Yeah, because y'all are.
Please clap. That was amazing.
Y'all are the. Y'all are the leaders of that shit. Like, you're like the ones that are gonna take us back to spirituality, take us back to
and
a
I'm
healing
like,
and loving.
oh my God, I'm gonna cry. This is like such a sensitive thing, because I'm like I just see this so much, and I'm like, women fight we want men that are sensitive, we want men that listen to us, we want men that are more feminine and more in touch with their feminine side, but we don't even allow us to be feminine.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
That's really crazy and heartbreaking, because I'm like, a man can't be, first of all, it's not in your guys' nature.
Not even close.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and if it's in our nature and we're not even expressing it, what the fuck do we want you guys to express it for? What? If we're scared to show it, why? Like,
did you have this thought before it came out right now?
What?
What you just said in the last like 30 seconds.
All of this?
Yeah, like the last 30 seconds right now of like saying that if a woman can't even express, I know if a woman can't even express herself, how do we expect a man to express himself?
Because it just angers me.
But I mean, do you have this in your head already before like today?
No. I mean, I always say it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just something. Wait, why?
Because it was like, I feel like you were putting it together.
Oh, no. I mean, like, it's just something that I truly believe, and I see it all the time. I mean, I do deal with women like this, and I see it all the time. And because I am a woman, and I see how society's doing, right? And we're so quick to blame, and we're so mediocre that.
Hey, come here, bring us over.
Yeah, that we're so mediocre to blame others or blame the man for how we're feeling, and why aren't you this and that? And it's like.
But you know that whole formula is by the same people, elites. Like, they want.
Oh my God! Wow, we've been here for a minute.
So if you pay attention, it's all together, right? So when we talk about the feminist movement, when we talk about blaming men and masculinity, it's all targeted at the same way. Like, it's all like, why do you think you have like men competing in women's sports? You know, like.
No, I don't know. Who's competing?
There's a lot of guys in women's sports now, Olympics and swimming and running and like.
Really?
Yeah, there's a fucking Women of the Year was Caitlyn Jenner. Women of the Year, a dude.
Oh, homegirls. Oh.
Homeboy.
Homeboys.
Big old dick, like he. I don't know if he still has a dick or not, but.
I don't think so.
Okay, but. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're doing this shit on purpose. It's not an accident.
I don't know. I'm just like.
They don't want to have women like this. They don't, because this is like it's an army in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like take us back to like away from this harsh reality. You know what I'm saying? Like
the man reality.
Yeah.
The manly world. I mean, this man is led by this
sure.
world is led by man.
By Satan.
By man.
You don't like to use that word, huh?
By man.
Why?
What?
Well, do you think Satan's a man or a female?
I don't know.
Don't even think about it. Just answer it.
I sometimes even think it could be a woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like women are dangerous, bro.
I agree. Hey, chill out. You want to know what's crazy that a lot of women don't know is that y'all think that men are the ones that don't want to see a woman prosper. Like the word misogynist is thrown around a lot, right? But you want to know who is a woman's biggest hater? Other women.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't understand why women don't understand that. It's so obvious to me. Like it's like if you see women's sports, right? They want.
But you see, all these things with like women being against women, it's mainly masculine women.
Yeah, you're right. The ones that are in their
'Cause trust
masculine,
me, because back then, yeah, I used to see that reality a lot. Now, all the women in my circle, we all love each other and we all
all
support
four,
each
y'all.
other.
All
Yeah.
four.
Huh?
How many?
How many what?
Four women.
Four men what?
I was making a
Just
sarcastic joke.
just
You're like
stupid.
all of them in our circle. All four of y'all, yeah.
No, just meaning like my reality now, like the women that I'm attracted to or like that get attracted to me. Yeah, there's no hate, there's no competition. Like we're all here to heal, we're all here to love each other. Like
Yeah, that shit's dope. Yeah.
it's amazing.
You
It's a
don't see
beautiful
that
thing.
shit that much though.
No, you don't. But it's because, like I said, it's the percentage is so small now. But it's there. We're there. We're trying to like poke our head out in the middle of like all this
'Cause
chaos.
it's funny that you said that, like the masculine thing, because like you see, like say they're 40 and they had a failed relationships, and they're telling the younger women, men ain't shit. Like men are the enemy. They don't want to see somebody else happy in a happy relationship with a bunch of kids when they're 40, like single and like empty house. They might have money, a nice car, nice house.
You know, it's really crazy because it's like my roommate right now, or the girl I'm living with. She's old. I mean, she's like in her 30s,
Okay.
and yeah, I mean, she's very masculine, like very masculine. And I mean, I think I'm more feminine than masculine. I definitely work on my feminine more than my masculine, just because um it's more important to me. Anyways, my point is that it's contagious, right? Like I'm somebody that like I'm in the like in the mornings I wake up and I'm like good morning, or like if I'm making breakfast, I'm like I love to share with others, right? It's just in my nature now, and I'm like, do you want like I want to cook for her, or like I want to make her breakfast, and she's always like, no, I'm good. She's super like I could do things
I
on my
got
own
this.
type of
Yeah.
things, right? So she was seeing this dude, and she was like, nope, I'm not emotionally available. But she had gone through some shit with her ex, right?
This is recent.
Yeah. And I could see that her ex is still there in her heart, right? And she definitely got hurt by him. But she's like, nah, I'm good. Fuck him. Yeah, you know, typical story. When a girl says fuck him, is like I loved him and he betrayed me or he hurt me, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, she was seeing this guy. She was friends with this guy, and she's seeing this guy, right? And she was like, "No, I don't want to let him in. I'm not emotionally available." Yada yada yada. And I told him, and this guy, he's very loving, and he wanted to like take care of her and be there for her. And are you taking a video of me? Oh,
What the fuck? What is?
I don't
What
know. I
is
was
that?
like, what the fuck?
Hey, look at my phone.
So yes, and
Awkward.
wow.
So the 99% of the time she's photogenic videos, and then as soon as I actually put a camera on her, all of a sudden she's shy.
Not shy, but I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Or there's like already a camera right there.
Yeah, but this is like less quality, so I'm gonna put it on MySpace.
Paparazzi. So, what was I saying? Weren't you gonna go live on Instagram?
Yeah, I forgot.
Bro, it's 1 a.m.
Swear to God.
Te voy a cobrar.
Alright, prostituta. You said she didn't want to let him in.
Yeah, she didn't want to let him in. Anyways, my point is that, yeah, within my softness, I'm like, babe, like, I know you want to let him in. You're just scared to get hurt again. So, anyways,
Do you believe in forgiveness?
to shorten, well,